Peace Collective, welcome to your reading. My name is Kay. Let's get started with this one and see what y'all need to know and the information that I've been channeling recently. So first of all, some of y'all might be from the islands. You might be Jamaican or Puerto Rican, Dominican, like just from the islands, because I was getting a lot of Caribbean music when I was when I was doing this channeling, and I got that one song called I think it's called Smile Jamaica or something, but it's like, girl, smile, smile for me, Jamaica, I wanna see you smile, girl, smile, smile for me, Jamaica. So I really love that song. It just gives me such good vibes. It gives me a lot of just the island music in general is always very tropical. I love it. Tropical sounding. I hope that's not corny as hell to say, but anyway, collective, bear with me, okay? So moving forward, let's see what's going on. So the situation that I'm getting is that someone around you could have really been, I heard, okay, I never ever say this word, but it popped up, is yapping. It's like they just keep talking and talking, but not only they're talking, it's like they just open their mouth and they just say the most out of pocket stuff. And this person, they said something about you that they wish they didn't say. It's like they won the battle, but they lost the war type of deal here. So someone said something to you in the moment, or they cut you off in the heat of the moment, and they're just looking back now, they're like, why did I say that? It was it made them feel powerful in the moment to reject you or to make you feel bad or to put you down. And then they look back and they're like, I really thought I ate. I really thought I did something when I rejected them or when I did that. Yet when I look at them, they're elevating and doing better. Collective, you're doing better. They thought that they really thought they was that person that was gonna humble you, and you were gonna come back crawling back oh my God, I thought I know I would find better out there, this person really thought you were gonna come back crying, crawling, whatever. They thought, exactly, Six of Swords, you could have walked away at first and it hurt their ego, and then when you came back, or maybe you tried to reconcile with them, they were adamant on rejecting you because they kind of wanted to have the one up or the upper hand. They were like, oh, let me do this tit for tat now, and let me reject them since they rejected me first. It's really childish. It really is. Who has time to no offense, not even, actually, please take all offense if this is you, but if you're just in a relationship playing games doing that tit for tat, and then that person leaves you out of nowhere, they just ghost you or whatever, you really deserve that, honestly, because who got time for that? We are grown people, have lives, and they are busy. They don't have time to be playing games with someone who's acting like they're supposed to be the main character in everybody's life and story. That's not how it works. And I may not be able to humble you, but life sure will. So y'all can come mad at me in my comments if you want to, if you get offended, but I mean, it don't change the fact that I'm right. So anyway, what's happening for the collective is there's just people who just were on the offensive here. They really thought, maybe they thought you had bad intentions, or they assumed you did, so they're this person is just, I think that someone's realizing how much of an a-hole they are, or just how they're not as good of a person as they thought, or they're just not really all that, pretty much. Let me humble myself real quick. They tried to humble you and they ended up humbling themselves, pretty much. Yeah, you're really that person. You could be financially stable or secure. You have a home of your own, some of y'all. You're healing. You're really on your healing journey, working on yourself, doing what you have to do to improve yourself in your life, changing your habits, your thought patterns, the way you treat people, the way you treat yourself. And it's almost this person is they do not want to hear if you're going through something good. This person, they really thought that, some of y'all could have been dealing with a narcissist, because it's almost this person thought oh, if I'm not in their life anymore, then they're gonna finally see what they're missing out on. And it's almost you ended up elevating and doing even better than before, and now they're kind of shook, or they're trying to project their misery onto you, oh, you're not as happy as you appear, you're just pretending you're happy on social media, but you're not really as happy. They could be posting subliminal posts just because they you could be posting about how happy you are on social media, and then they're just because someone posts that they're happy doesn't mean that they're actually happy. It's they're just really bothered by you. They're bothered by your existence. They're bothered by you just being happy, because they're depressed as hell in their own life and have nothing else better to do than to make you the main character of their life. It's very strange. Can I've also, this person could have also told you like, oh, you think you're all that, or like they could have accused you of like just being this, like they accused you of being the narcissist. They accused you of being the self-centered one. They accused you of being the conceited one or the one who was gossiping. But in reality, that was actually their behavior that they didn't want to face. So they ended up pushing that projection onto you because you were just the target of their hate at that time. So a lot of y'all, I don't think, are taking this personal, because I kind of feel like y'all are on a different vibe where you're kind of unbothered by stuff like this. So these sorts of energy, it's almost like a side quest in your journey. You're just like, oh, like it's another person that's trying to get on my nerves, like let me just deal with this real quick and then let me continue on the main mission. Like it's really not something that is to be taken very seriously or lightly, because I feel like you guys are very focused on other things. And it's kind of like you don't always pick up on these energies because you're kind of on the go. You're always busy. You have meetings, or you have, you know, goals that you're chasing after daily. So I kind of feel like for this collective, you guys are genuinely on the go, or you're going to be very soon. A lot of you guys could be traveling, or you like to travel as well. You're manifesting travel. And I'm getting signs Sagittarius and Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo. A lot of you guys are just very chill people, grounded, down to earth. Like you don't take life too seriously. And you guys also just appear to be right now, a lot of people are just seeing you as someone who's abundant, who is stable, who's incredibly talented, and you just know how to bring security into your life. It's like, and a lot of people have seen you go through healing in your life. Like they've seen you transform, go from one state of life to the next. And like people are watching your evolution and they're just amazed by it. And I also saw this quote is popping up in my head, and I don't know if this is a direct quote, but someone basically mentioned how I think that people get the idea of survival of the fittest wrong, where they believe that the strongest survive, when it's really the strongest, it's the survival of the fittest to adapt. It's not the strongest who survive, it's the ones who are able to adapt the most that survive. So people who are resistant to change are, not to like scare y'all, but like for lack of better words, like people who resist change and hold on to things without ever wanting it to change, they don't last. Like they don't make it in the evolution of the world, because the world is meant to change. If you guys are like, if you're someone who's resistant to things changing, whether it be language or religion or the way that the world is moving, or you're resistant to the idea that things may be changing or not going to be the same in the future, then you're likely someone who's resistant to life itself. Like you're resistant to changes in your own life, even if those changes are actually good for you. So imagine if you are sick with something, and because you are resistant to the cure, you decide that you don't want anything to do with it. You distance yourself from something that can benefit you. So the idea of survival of the fittest is not about being the strongest. It's actually about being the most likely to adapt. The ones who are able to adapt and change are the ones who evolve, the ones who grow. So that's what the idea of like accepting the idea of death, or being at peace with the idea of death, comes from, because you're aware that if things don't change, if things stay the same forever, it's not going to survive anyway. So in case you guys see change and you associate negativity with it, maybe you should reframe it to that, instead of thinking, maybe this is something that's going to change for the worse. What if it changes for the better? Yeah. Okay, the Empress in reverse came out, and I usually don't read this deck in reverse, but because of what I was just talking about, I think this is very significant. Some of you guys may be Libra, Taurus placements, Taurus Venus, Libra Venus especially. Very beautiful people. You like your style, the way you love, especially the way you heal and grow. And I'm kind of getting like, I feel like you guys are learning to surround yourself with people who bring out the best in you, not people who make you like such an ugly person. Because sometimes we go through phases in life where we're not the best person, and it's not necessarily because we're a bad person overall. It's sometimes we're surrounding ourselves with bad people who bring out the worst in us. So when you're more aware of the people around you, and if they're bringing out the best or the worst in you, it's gonna reframe the way that you handle your relationships and the people you keep around you, because you only want to keep people who are bringing out the best in you. And if you notice that someone is only bringing out like the worst in you, you don't like who you are when you're around them, then I think that's a really telling sign that maybe that person just isn't benefiting your growth in the moment. So maybe you guys just are learning to become okay with adaptation and evolution and changing and evolving, because evolution is a very beautiful thing. We can evolve in great ways, not just bad ways. There are very great ways we can evolve. So if you're going to focus on evolution, focus on the positive aspects of it, not necessarily just, things not being the same anymore. So I'm actually going to switch decks now because I kind of feel called to. So I'm going to switch to the romance deck because, I do like to get love messages for y'all, because relationships are an important aspect of our lives. So we're going to see what is happening. And for those of y'all who are interested in love or don't care about romantic relationships, take this as like your platonic relationships and don't take it so deep as like romantic level type things, So, it's going to resonate for everybody in different ways, but I really feel like energetically today, like whatever group I'm tapping into, I really like your vibes. Like, I'm just saying, out of all the vibes that I channel into on the daily, like I really you guys are such chill, laid back people, and like very like underrated. I hear like some people be sleeping on y'all, honestly. The Empress in reverse also. Maybe some of y'all are having relationship with your mother or with a sister wound. Maybe you have hurts around like the feminine as well, feeling like the feminine is always in competition with you, or just feeling like maybe you had a bad relationship with women in your life that could affect the way you view women. And if you are a woman, of course that's going to affect the way you view yourself, because you are a woman. And some of you guys may have dealt with this pain by disassociating with your gender if you're a woman. It could be vice versa as well if you're a man, but whatever the case is, I feel like there could be like gender trauma or some sort of trauma you could be going through with your sex or with the opposite sex. And that comes out a lot in my readings. Like some groups are usually more closed off to the other sex, and then some of them are like closed off to their own sex. It's like usually like an extreme of one or the other. So I think that's worth noting for this group. So let's see what's happening for this group with the love. Things haven't been the same since I last saw you. Sometimes you don't seem interested. I am just cooling down. I pretend they are you. Okay, yeah. So the person I was channeling in the beginning, you can trust me. I know more about you than I admit. I am threatened by your success. Yeah, someone here was very threatened by your success. They could have been watching those podcasts where it's like, oh, like women, if they have a degree, they ain't ish, or like, like just those podcasts where they just degrade the opposite gender to the point where like they get, it affects the way that they have relationships with the gender in real life, with the opposite gender in real life. I hope I said that correctly, y'all. I'm kind of getting tongue-tied because I'm speaking so quickly, so I apologize for y'all that are getting confused. So moving forward, this person noticed that you were very unbothered by them. Like they're used to people kind of reacting to their anger or treating them kind of like a little special, I would say, or just people kind of boosting their ego, like, oh yeah, like group number one, or not, sorry, you're not a group, but this collective group didn't deserve you. They were lazy anyway. They didn't do anything for you. And then this person in the moment, they were like, yeah, like they're right. Like group number one, they didn't do nothing for me. Like I did all the work, blah, blah, blah. And then like they keep cutting back around to you because they know that's not true. That's just what they told themselves to cope with their heartache. Like it wasn't really the truth. It was just the lies that felt good at the time. And now they're kind of getting sick of the lies. They're getting sick of being fed that same BS. And they're just like, yeah, I know it's not true. Like I need to get my stuff together. together, because the collective group wasn't even a bad person to me. I think they just needed time to cool down, and they're kind of realizing that. Like, they kind of let their anger get the best of them, and then they cut you off in the heat of the moment, or they just did something that they regret now, and they kind of see now that they were jealous of the fact that you are successful and you are talented, and they tried to resist your growth. They tried to tell you weren't ish, or that you couldn't do it, or they weren't supportive of you when you wanted to tell them about your goals or your dreams, or they tried to, you know, downplay your culture, or they tried to downplay your beliefs in a way, or tried to make it seem like, you know, oh, they're just going through a phase. And it wasn't a phase for you. It was actually like your life, your experience. And it just felt like this person was dehumanizing you, because they couldn't see you as their equal. They were just seeing you as someone who was inferior to them. So let's see. I think a lot of you guys, some of y'all just really dealt with jerks when it comes to love, I think. And y'all are just really realizing, like, yeah, this person ain't it. Or like just the level of like the standard that you had for dating or for friendships was just kind of low, and because of that, it gave you low quality experiences with people. And then you're kind of like, why do I keep running into the same type of people? Why do I keep running into people like this? Maybe you need to reassess the standard that you have for the people you keep around you, because if you allow certain behaviors, you're creating a pattern in your life regardless of if you notice or not. And sometimes we can't change that cycle or pattern without realizing what it is that we do that is creating that cycle in our life. So we have to become more aware of ourselves, our standards, what we accept, what we don't accept, who we are, you know, how people see us. It really is important, because if you go out into the world not knowing who you are, someone else is going to see who you are, and they're going to take advantage of that if they're not someone with good intentions. So it's good to be someone who's already one step ahead of people who are already against you. So a lot of you guys are really learning to just outsmart people, I think. Like, you guys are just leveling up at this point, and you're just not falling for the games and the BS. Like, you're starting to really catch on, like, faster and faster, to where, like, people can't even play you at this point. And if they do, like, you're just like, you know what? It's not going to happen again, you know? Like, you guys honestly are at the point where you don't even get played very often. So it doesn't even... It's almost, I heard, like, good game. Like, GG. Like, if someone does play, you're just like, GG. Like, that rarely happens, but, you know, it did happen. Like, I can admit that. So I think you guys also, again, like, are very chill people, so you can admit when you're wrong, or where you need to improve, or where you need to change. And a lot of people aren't like that, believe it or not. Like, people do not want to see where they need to change, or they don't want to admit they're wrong, or they think that, like, they can't admit they're wrong, or they're never wrong. Even, like, sometimes being right, like, there is a cost to being right, and sometimes it's not even worth it, is what I've learned. Like, being right or being the good person in the end is not all that it's choked up to be, or whatever. And for this group, you guys are just like, I'll play the villain in your story if I have to. Like, I promise you, I could give less of a F if you think I'm a bad guy or whatever, because I'm just taking care of me at this point. No one was taking care of me, so I'm gonna do that now. So you guys are really putting yourself first again, because, you know, this is just a reoccurring thing where you're just learning, okay, I gotta put myself first again, because this person isn't it. So you guys are pulling back your energy and learning to channel it into the right people in the right places, so that you don't get hurt again. And, you know, there is strength in knowing that you can love again, because you're no longer giving those people in the past that hurt you the power to say that they are the reason you can't love anymore. They are the reason that you aren't yourself anymore. Like, do you really want to give your enemies, or the people who, you know, hurt you or betrayed you, etc., do you really want to give them that sort of power? Do you really want them to say that they have that sort of control over you, or that they still have that sort of say over your emotions, to where you can no longer be who you truly are because of that? Like, you guys are really starting to reframe your fears, and you're like, why am I so scared to do what I love because of these people that suck, you know? Embracing your truest self, no matter what, is the biggest thing. Embracing your authenticity. These people won the battle, but they didn't win the war. And they're waking up to that truth. Okay, collective, thank you so much for joining me for this reading. I hope it resonated. Drop a like, comment, and subscribe if you want to join my beautiful community of my lovely ravens. My name is Kay. I had the pleasure of being your reader today, and I hope to catch you at my next video. Peace.